Okay, so you want to just introduce yourself, kind of tell us a
Sure.
little bit about yourself?
Sure. Well, my name is Dr. Sherry Olson, and I am an associate teaching professor in the Department of Animal Science here at Iowa State University. My obligations to the department is 100% teaching, so that's all I do. I don't have a research appointment. I don't have graduate students. I'm married. Have been married for, I think, 36 years. I can never remember. And I've been involved in production livestock all my life. And so currently my husband and I live north of Ames, about a half an hour. And although when we were at home in Missouri, we ran about 200 head of clubby ewes and some Hampshire hogs and also some cows. And 200 head of ewes, some cows, Hampshire hogs. Then when Dr. Brad Scar, who you know, recruited me to come back to Iowa State, I came back to work on a master's when I was 42 because I have a BS in animal science from the University of Missouri. So I wouldn't suggest everybody doing that. But so I came back to Iowa State when I was 42, and I had my master's and PhD in meat science with it's always been a focus in education. For those two programs, it was food safety education. So as I said, I co-teach with Dr. Scar, Animal Science 101, and then he co-teaches with me in Animal Science 411. And then, as you know, we have the 270 lab and the meat judging team and program coordinating that. And then I have between 50 and 60 advisees. And I'm co-advisor for the Collegiate Cattlemen's Organization. So my other obligations, what do I do outside of school? Active in the Emmanuel Lutheran Church. I'm on the Board of Deacons, and Roger and I are heavily involved in youth livestock programs. So there's usually not a dull moment at our house. Yeah,
Just a little busy.
Yeah, just a little busy.
Sure. Okay, so the first question I have for you is, how did your education prepare you for success in your field?
Well, I have a passion for livestock production. And so tying this meat science to livestock production is actually a pretty natural combination because the breeding of livestock, whether it's purebred livestock or commercial livestock, everything ends up in the meat case. And so actually I tell students all the time, whether you're intending to go on into the meat industry or not, going through those meat science courses and certainly having that experience in meat judging can't help but make you a better breeder of livestock, whether you are in the purebred industry making genetics for the commercial end or whether you are in the commercial end, because as you know by now, after you see hundreds of beef cattle carcasses, you pretty much have it in your head the genetics that you need to tie together to get those yield grade 3s, a minimum of low choice. Now, the other thing and I'll just go ahead and tell you now before I forget, working on any type of team project, there's a special type of bond that has to be there where you are accountable individually for the betterment of the team. And so I think especially for you and your peers on your meat judging team, you have full understanding of that. Yeah.
Of course. Okay, so the next question I have is, did you have a mentor that helped you through college and into your professional career?
Oh, yes. I would have to first of all list Dr. Brad Scar. He's a family friend, a brother from another mother, as I like to say. But he is, and he still is, a mentor to me. I ask questions. He gives me constructive criticism, and that's okay. And another one of my mentors would be Dr. Joe Sobranik, who is most recently retired. And of course, Dr. Joe knows more about the processed and the meat industry than any of us will ever remember. And he was another guy who was very honest, was very kind, but yet could give constructive criticism when needed. And I think those mentors, there needs to be that high level of respect that comes from both sides, but yet knowing that you're comfortable going to them, asking a question and getting an honest answer, because that's what you need.
Of course.
And that's okay, and we all need those kind of mentors.
Yeah. Okay, so how do you create a healthy work-life balance? You kind of already answered that. But...
Yeah, I have, but boy, Ash, I'm going to tell you, that for me is a daily struggle. Because especially, I'm a type A personality. I'm very structured in how I like my days, and that could be a curse and a blessing.
Yeah.
But I am constantly thinking about school. Yeah. And it has been. And I think when you try to be very good at your job, everybody goes through that because you care.
Yeah.
You want to do the best job that you can. And for me, it's not, personal accolades or awards or anything like that. I want my kids to do well.
Yeah.
And I want I want to come up with those programs and those projects and those ideas that are going to give them an opportunity to excel.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, when they walk across the stage to get their degree, I want them to know that they got everything they could get from me as an instructor and from our program, and set them up for a very lucrative, a very successful career. And that's the most important thing of all, because these students that graduate with their BS in animal science, they're going to jobs that are making more money than I'm making, and that's okay. That's fine with me. Okay. So yeah, the work-life balance thing, I struggle with it because I'm thinking about work all the time. All the time.
Okay, the next question I have for you is, what work experience has been most helpful to you in your career?
Working with students, working with good students. I enjoy seeing the light bulbs go off when we're actually going through, and I mean, it's tough. I mean, education should be fun. The classroom should be fun, but I mean, there's also that fine line, we got to get down to business, and some days are hard. And when the light bulbs go off and they're going, oh, I get it now. That's when it's like, oh, thank you. And so that is what I really understand. Ask me that question one more time.
Sure. So what work experience has been most helpful to you in your career?
What work experience? Working with great mentors as well. I think working with great kids, working with great mentors, having the flexibility to try some new things with students educationally, that has helped a whole lot. Thanks.
Of course, yeah. So, if you could change or redo anything in your career, what would it be and why?
I would have started down the road of my master's and PhD when I finished with my BS. I think because there was a 20-year lapse there. Now, again, maybe that was a good thing, because I had a very gratifying career. But every time I turned around, because I come from a pair of parents who held up education to its highest level. I am a first generation to go to college. And so although the work experiences and the life experiences I had certainly gave me the maturity when I came back to work on a master's, I think I also lost out on 20 years. However, on the other hand, if I would have gone ahead and come to school, chances are I wouldn't have ever met Roger Wilson. I wouldn't have ever been married for 36 years, So there's give and take with that.
Yeah, of course. Okay, the last question I have for you is, how do you stay up to date and relevant with current events or issues in your field of work?
I read a lot. Now, as you have heard me say, I get a lot, the the daily newsletters start hitting my inbox and my email about 4:30 in the morning, and I get up early in the morning and get after it. But I like to read. I like to keep up. I listen to rural radio exclusively. I watch RFD TV. I try to keep up because I want to make sure that I have the most relevant information that I can send on to my students in the classroom, because these students are not kids, they're young adults.
Yeah.
And so anything that I can do, any information that I can pass along, I want them to know that. And also, students are busy. You know, I heard we were in a meeting just the other evening, and when I was your age, at school at the University of Missouri, there was, for me anyway, the livestock judging team, block and bridle and work, and that was it. And now there are so many different opportunities for students, and they're all trying to set themselves up to get selected for an internship or get an office and have leadership opportunities, and ultimately to get a job. And sometimes they're just so busy. There's only 7 days in the week, 24 hours in the day. And so anything that I hear or see or read that I feel like is important to my students, I'm going to pass it along.
Yeah, of course.
And help them develop the habit of maybe when they get up in the morning, instead of checking Snapchat and Facebook the first thing, you know, if they can get tied into, and when I say my mailbox is full, I don't sit there and read every single article that comes through my Drover's Journal feed, but you develop a method of read the title, read that first opening paragraph, and then decide very quickly, is it worth me going back and reading the entire thing, or can I put that over in a file folder, and maybe as Roger and I are going down the road, I can pull that up on my phone and read it and make reference to it in the classroom.
Cool.
But it also helps Roger and I at home too.
Yeah.
So,
Very nice. Well,
Good.
that's all the questions that I have for you. Just want to say thank you for letting me
Oh, well,
do
you're
this.
welcome. You're
And
one of my kids.
And I appreciate it. So,
Yeah, no problem. No problem at all.